Meanwhile, Marge and Hermione arrive at the police station.
Come on, Hermione.
Walking inside the police station, Marge and Hermione come across Sergeant Cam Wesson. She then files her reports about what had happened.
Hello, ma'am. What can I do for you?
Yes, hi. My name is Marge Kane and this is my daughter, Hermione. We're here today to file a police report.
Okay, what seems to be the problem?
Okay, so I'm here because I have a husband who was very suicidal. Today, him and I had gotten into a heated argument and then started calling me a bunch of ugly names. And then pushed me to the ground. He then picked up a big stick and started beat himself up with it numerous times before taking final blows to his head, and then dropped to the ground. I didn't know what to do, so I had to put him somewhere where my neighbours couldn't see him when they come in, and then I had to get my daughter out of there and come to you guys.
Is that really what happened?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You just hang tight, and I'll take this to the chief.
Sergeant Cam finishes up the report and then takes it to the chief.
Chief?
Sergeant Wesson, what do you have?
This report, sir.
Cam gives Marge's report to the chief.
Who's filing it?
A woman by the name of Marge Kane.
The chief scans his eyeballs through Marge's report for a couple of seconds.
I know just what to do.
I know that look. You're gonna send in Seth Norton, aren't you?
Damn right. But he's not the only person who's going to investigate this newest tongue-in-cheek story.
The chief then goes to do what he said he would do. He picks up the phone and dials Seth Norton's number. The phone rings, and Seth on the other end answers.
Hello, this is Seth Norton.
Inspector Norton, get over here immediately. That's an order.
On my way, Chief.
Meanwhile, at the coffee chain, Seth hangs up his cell phone, then takes his last sip of his coffee and gets up from his seat.
Gotta go, guys.
Good luck, Seth.
Go kick some ass, Seth.
Loving this motivation, guys.
Seth quickly rushes to his police car, gets in, and drives to the police station. He enters the place, and then we hear the intercom calling in Seth to see the chief.
Mr. Norton, please report to the chief's office immediately.
Seth walks into the chief's office, ready to get to work. He also comes across Officer Jenn Raine, who's in the chief's office as well.
Hello, Chief.
Norton, we have a new crime scene that I want you to look into.
Let's hear it.
A woman by the name of Marge Kane has filed a police report claiming that her husband Tony had committed suicide by beating himself to death with a stick after getting into an argument with his wife. And then Marge, in confusion, put his dead body someplace in her home where no one could find him.
Tony? Marge? I know them. I know Tony the most, and I hardly know Marge. She came to the coffee chain where I was at, and I tried to help figure out what was going on with her, and Tony would never kill himself. He loves being here for his daughter and his wife. Something's not adding up, and I think Marge is up to something.
Exactly. So you do realize that this story is fishy and smelly, along with me. Now, I want you to go over there to the Kane's family's residence and investigate Tony Kane's murder. Oh, and Officer Raine is coming along with you. Raine, you're with Inspector Norton.
Yes, sir.
I'm counting on you two. Scoop up what you two can find over there. Now, leave my office.
Yes, sir.
Walking out of the chief's office, Seth and Jenn come across Marge and Hermione.
Hello, Marge. Hello, Hermione. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you, Mr. Norton.
Marge, I don't know what's going on at your house, but we're gonna get to the bottom of this. Just remember that.
Seth and Jenn walk away from Marge and Hermione, and the two carry on with their assignment. Later, they arrive at the Kane family's house. Seth's computer occasionally reminds them of what assignment him and Jenn are supposed to do.
Okay, so I'm going through the report, and we just gotta make sure that this case is accurate to Marge Kane's story.
Right. I occasionally visit the family whenever they invite me to Hermione's birthday party. Almost every year.
Reminder for Mr. Norton. Investigate the murder of Tony Kane.
Just as Seth and Jenn head into the house, a neighbor shows up out of nowhere and tries to intervene.
Hey, Mr. Norton. What's going on over there?
Sir, I'm gonna have to ask you to step away. This is a crime scene.
Is it? What would happen over there?
This is a murder case. Now back off or I'll arrest you. Leave.
But I want to help too. I know them people.
Are you a cop? Were you a witness?
No.
Go.
The random neighbor leaves the crime scene and Seth and Jenn enter the house. Inside, they investigate Tony Kane's murder, finding all the clues of how it all went down. Tony's corpse, however, is nowhere to be found, just his blood all over the floor. Jenn finds the stick that Marge used to beat Tony to death with.
I found the stick. So Seth, how does Tony beat himself to death with the stick? It's a bit heavy, but beating yourself up with it will just knock you out. It would take a bit to beat yourself to death, considering how heavy it is.
Which means someone had the stick. Someone took it to the poor gentleman and beat him to death with some kind of force. Marge has to be that person, considering the fact that she's up to shit. Even with her nasty attitude.
Seth looks down and sees Marge's spilled cup of coffee on the floor.
That's Marge's coffee cup. I know this for sure, because I was at the coffee chain when she came there for a cup of coffee. Why'd you spill it? This has to be part of the murder, Jenn.
How do we prove that?
Meanwhile, just a mile away from the house, we see Bert and Malina spying on Seth and Jenn from a portable computer device. They see that they're having trouble trying to solve the case.
We have to lure Seth to the evidence, because they're finding almost nothing in that house. I'm calling him right now.
Bert tries calling Seth's number on his cell phone and then waits for the answer. Back inside the house, Seth's cell phone goes off by vibrating and his ringtone playing Axel F. Seth takes out his cell phone and answers it.
You have Axel F as your ringtone?
It's not the Crazy Frog version. Also, the movie's awesome. Hello? This is Seth Norton.
Seth, listen to us. You're finding the evidence, but you're not finding everything else in this case.
Okay, what do you know about this situation?
I left a hidden camera somewhere in this house. Hopefully Mrs. Kane didn't find it. It wouldn't record unless I had the remote to record it.
Alright, I'm looking for it now. Where is it?
It's under the table. When you're about to go to the backyard, I put it under there, but not before hitting record to capture. After that, me and Malina went outside with Hermione.
Seth goes to the table nearby the back door, looks under it and finds the hidden camera, then takes it.
Okay, I found it. Now what do I do with it?
Go over the footages that are on the camera.
Seth goes over the footage that was recorded secretly on camera and plays one of them. The first footage being played was when Marge was having a heated argument with Tony.
There are 2 different footages on this camera. I'm playing the first footage now. So I'm looking at Marge arguing with Tony. She's spewing out hateful things and Tony is trying to handle the conversation. She then says that she is going out to get coffee. That's when I saw her at the coffee chain. The footage ends there.
Seth placed the next footage on the camera, which shows Marge with her coffee cup coming in to talk with Tony again, which eventually led to her murdering him.
Next footage. I'm looking at Marge coming back to the house with her cup of coffee. Another conversation occurs and slowly builds up to another argument. Well, I am surprised to see this next part. Marge splashes her coffee at Tony, takes the stick and...
What? What is she doing now?
Having fun with Tony. Now, she's taking his dead body to a closet.
Suddenly, Jenn finds Tony's corpse in the closet.
Seth, I found him!
Great. Now, take a look at these footages.
Seth then walks up to Jenn and gives her the camera. He continues to talk to Bert on his cell phone.
Bert, you are one smart partner.
I know.
We'll take care of the rest. Now, you and Malina stay put at your home.
Should we send in the ambulance and the reinforcements?
Yeah. Marge is about to be in hot water.
Minutes later, the reinforcements and an ambulance arrive at the house. Seth and Jenn remained outside the whole time waiting for them. Seth shows the doctor the way into the house to get to Tony's corpse.
Go inside, find the dead body, and get it out of there.
The doctor goes into the house to look for Tony's corpse. Meanwhile, back at the police station, Marge is escorting Hermione outside.
You know what, Hermione? I don't know how long this is going to take, so why don't you wait outside, okay?
Okay, Mom.
Marge leaves Hermione and heads back inside the police station. Bert and Malina finally arrive at the police station, where they find Hermione waiting outside. After a brief look and nod towards each other, the duo decides to give their friend an update about the ongoing investigation.
Hello, Hermione.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Shit is about to go down.
How?
Seth Norton had finished the investigation, and I showed him where the actual evidence is.
Ahem. Don't you mean we?
We showed him where the actual evidence is. Wait, Malina, what did you do to help?
That camera? Whose camera was that? And who let you borrow it?
Yours. And you.
See? Thank you very much, Bert.
Here he comes, right now.
Bert, Malina and Hermione see Seth and Jenn arriving back to the police station, and they both get out of the car to head in, but not before seeing Bert and Malina.
I thought I told you two to stay put.
Well, Hermione's our friend, and we have to be here for her. We even helped you out.
It doesn't matter. You don't realize that this case is dangerous. In 1 minute, something's gonna go down, and you do not want to stick around for it.
Alright, we'll leave.
Bert and Malina leave the police station. Seth and Jenn return to the chief's office inside, not only finding that he's in the office, but Marge is in there as well.
Chief, we've got the proof.
Well, let's have it.
Do you believe in me?
Seth takes out the camera and shows it to the chief.
I have this camera. The evidence is split to 2 videos. Go over them.
This better be good.
Seth gives the camera to the chief, who would then go over the footage. At the same time, Seth explains about what happened during Marge and Tony's exchange leading up to the murder.
As you go over the videos, I must tell you the report that we're filing right now. It appears that the Tony Kane fiasco started when Mrs. Marge Kane had a furious rant about her husband and an argument began. Tony put Marge in her place, and then Marge went out to get coffee. That's when I saw her at the coffee chain, by the way. The second footage shows Marge coming back to the house with her cup of coffee. She tries to act calm, but Tony wasn't having it with her. Marge then spilled her coffee on him and took a stick to him, beating him several times, causing him to die. She must have hit him so hard and so many times, her strength is unbelievable.
All of what Seth is saying is true, sir.
I can tell. And I'm impressed. Nice work, you two.
And as for the rest of the evidence, they're being taken care of.
The chief turns off the camera and puts it on his table. Marge is now shocked that she's been exposed for lying in a report and is guilty for murdering her husband. She would soon become hostile, as Seth and Jenn get her to admit that she caused the whole thing.
So, Marge, I've never seen you like this before. You're so crazy. You've actually tried to turn around and act like Tony is the crazy guy. You're the one who is crazy, Marge, and there is something wrong with you. You were lying in your report, and you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
How? How did you get into my house? I thought you were still at the coffee place during that time.
Just admit it, ma'am. You've committed a crime. Actually, 2 at that. A murder and a false accusation. You could be facing charges and life in prison, ma'am.
Come on, mega bitch. I mean Marge. What do you gotta say for yourself?
Losing her cool, Marge blows up and admit that she did, in fact, kill Tony.
Okay, I admit, I have problems. I have problems and I don't give a flying fuck about them. My husband was an ass anyway. And you, Mr. Seth Norton, you're a cop, aren't you? Come and get me!
Excuse me!
Marge rushes out the door to the chief's office. Seth tries to follow her. After overhearing the conversation through the chief's office, Hermione runs back to Bert and Malina, who are both at the driveway of the police station outside.
I heard the conversation. My mom murdered my dad.
It hurts, I know.
Well, I don't even know what to say.
The trio then looks at Marge, who is fleeing from the police station with Seth on her tail. She then gets into her car and drives off. Seth gets into his police car and follows her.
Oh, we've got to follow them!
You're right, let's go.
Bert, Malina and Hermione go to follow Seth and Marge. Seth chases after Marge across the city while Bert, Malina and Hermione try to keep up with them. The chase ends as Marge crashes into a tree at a park. Seth sees Marge and stops his car. He then gets out and approaches Marge, who tries to run away from him. He manages to stop her and grabs a hold of her.
Stop, Marge. That's far enough.
You don't have the guts to turn me in. You might as well just kill me now.
Bert, Malina and Hermione arrive at the park only to find Seth with the guilty Marge.
Mom!
A scared Hermione gets out of Bert's car and goes to see her mother, but Seth stops her.
Step away. She's on thin ice. She's not innocent. And she's evil.
It's okay, honey. I'm okay. We'll get through this. After this, we're going on vacation.
Why did you kill Dad, Mom? Why did you do it?
Because she's evil.
No, that's not true. Honey, don't believe anything the police officers tell you.
You see, I know your husband and daughter the most. I rarely see you, but back then, you was kind and gentle. What happened to you, woman?
You know, my life isn't any of your concern. You don't know the shit I'm going through, so stay out of it.
Have you been drinking or doing drugs? Which one?
Do you still have that camera, Mr. Norton?
Yeah, why?
Can I see the videos?
We haven't seen the videos either.
Go ahead.
Seth takes out the camera and gives it to Hermione.
I would like to have my camera back after this.
You'll get it back, Malina.
Hermione, Bert, and Malina go over the footages on the camera. After taking a look at the video of her mom murdering her dad, Hermione then walks up to Seth, asking to spill more info about her mom to him.
Mr. Norton, may I add something to this conversation?
Yes, as long as it's fitting to this situation.
One time, I saw my mother taking drugs because she recently lost her job at a law firm for pranking them and saying ridiculous stuff on the phone. She then tried to play the lottery but didn't win. Now she's a complete nutcase, and I didn't fully recognize it until she murdered my dad, who I loved more than my mom. So just for doing that, I say this. Off with her head.
Hermione goes to tell her mother off by saying,
Off with your head, Mom. And may God have mercy on your soul.
What did you say?
Hermione walks away from her mother. With Marge completely upset and destroyed, she takes out her gun and draws it on her own daughter.
Mr. Norton, look!
Malina points at Marge, drawing her gun at Hermione, grabbing Seth's attention to the point where he catches her doing so. He then draws his gun at Marge again.
Ma'am, drop your weapon. Do it now.
I should have killed her too, Seth, because of your bullshit.
Ma'am.
Try to stop me, if you have the balls to do so, Seth Norton.
Seth?
Stay out of this, Bert.
Now I'm getting scared.
I wish you all would rot in hell.
Marge, last warning. I'm gonna give until the count of 3 before I open fire.
Do it!
1.
When I do go to hell,
2.
I'll be sure to spit in Tony's face.
Look away, kids. 3.
Fuck all of you!
Seth shoots Marge, and she drops to the ground. She dies from the gunshot shortly after.
Have a nice trip to hell. You've been a bad mother, you mega bitch. Hermione, come here. Listen to me.
Hermione walks up to Seth.
I'm very sorry for both your mother and father's loss. Your father didn't deserve to die.
I understand. When you did see my mother back then, she wasn't a bitch.
Let's watch our mouth now, okay?
Okay, Mr. Norton.
Seth then turns his attention to Bert and Malina, telling them to leave the crime scene.
Bert, Malina, leave. Now.
Bert and Malina walk away from the scene while Seth finishes talking to Hermione.
Come on. Do you know someone else who can take care of you?
I mean, I can go stay with my uncle. He's very nice. He'll get what I'm going through and know what I'm talking about.
I'll be sure to tell him everything that he needs to know.
Thanks, Mr. Norton.
Seth takes Hermione away from the crime scene and escorts her to his police car. Back at the Kane family's house, Hermione decides to go live with her uncle. She has everything she needs to leave the house behind. She's with Seth, and he's ready to take her to safety, but not before saying goodbye to Bert and Malina.
Guys, I really do appreciate your help. The same can be said about Mr. Norton.
We're always here to help you, Hermione.
Well, I'm off to my uncle's. I need someone to take care of me. It's been fun while it lasted, but now I've got to move on and start over.
Good luck with that.
Thanks.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Hermione goes to Seth's police car and gets in it. Seth, before he turns to get into his police car as well, looks at Bert and Malina and leaves them with a life lesson.
I know it sucks, this whole situation, but sometimes you've gotta think about it. When you're in a very dangerous situation, what do? Should you stay or evacuate? I prefer to do the latter.
Seth gets in his police car and departs, taking Hermione with him, and leaving Bert and Malina and the Kane house. At least Hermione will be in a safe place where another family member of hers will take care of her for the rest of her life. The end.